Welcome to Mondays with Maxwell. My name is Mark Cole. I'm the president and CEO of the John Maxwell Leadership Enterprise. I believe every one of you watching this right now is just like John. You welcome Mondays because you look forward to starting your week off looking for ways to value people. And since today is Monday, my friends, let's hear from the man of the hour. He is our leader, our friend, John C. Maxwell.
Hey, John Maxwell here. Welcome to Mondays with Maxwell. I'm so glad to be with you again, 12 Eastern Standard Time every Monday. We get about 20 minutes together. And I'm continuing the Best Advice series. And today I'm going to give you another one of my best advices to you. But we've got to hear from Andrew first. And so Andrew gave me this one to pass on to you. My uncle, he said, told me to always go the extra mile. He had a lot of Uber riders mad at him for this, okay? Andrew, as always, your depth amazes me. Your depth amazes me. And my best advice for you is, it's going to serve you better than Andrew's. Trust me on this. Here it is. Preparation and reflection maximize every experience. Now, I call preparation and reflection the bookends of success. Preparation on the front end, reflection on the back end. And I just want you to know that I think that if all things that end well have to start well. So when you hear people talk about the end, I say, no, let's start at the beginning. If we can start well, we have higher odds of ending well. So let me just share with you a story of my first encounter with John Wooden, who was a lifetime mentor for me and huge. When I had the opportunity to have a meeting with John Wooden, I was very excited because of who he was, and I just had admired him so much as a coach, and I had one goal, and this is what I don't want you to miss. My goal wasn't just to meet him and have a picture taken with him. My goal was to have a mentoring relationship with him. And so I sat down and I asked myself, how do I get his attention? I mean, what do I need to do to make this more than a one-time deal? Because I'm always interested in people who they kind of want to meet somebody that they admire and they want to take a picture. And it's kind of like I met him and I got a picture and that's good. Well, I suppose that is good. But I wanted to go beyond that. I said, I've got to get his attention. How am I going to do it? Now, this fits right into our preparation, reflection, maximizing your experience. So I had about a month to prepare for our visit. And of course, John Wooden is known for his success pyramid. And so I got it out and I memorized it. I memorized all the values and the qualities that he had in the success pyramid. And then I bought all of his books. I think at that time he had 6. And I'd read a couple of them already, but I read the other ones I hadn't read. I marked them up, and as I was reading them, I wrote questions down that I want to ask out of his books. And so when I finished, I had 5 pages of questions. So now I'm out in Los Angeles. We're going to go have breakfast. He's offered to give me an hour. We're going to have breakfast together. We go to his old spot where his booth was. All of his friends are there. It's kind of old home week, and here I am, ready to learn. And so we do small talk for about 10 minutes, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I only have an hour and a half at the most, and we've already killed 10 minutes of it with small talk. I'm really wanting to get in there and start learning. And finally, Coach Wooden looked over and said, John, he said, do you have any questions you'd like to ask me? Well, I said, I sure do, Coach. I've written them down. I said, do you mind if I get them out? He said, well, of course. He said, get them out. Ask me the question. So I put the legal pad down on the table at the booth where we were sitting, and he looked at it. He said, "Oh my goodness!" He said, that page is full of questions." I said, "Well, yeah, it is, Coach." I said, "That's page 1." He said, "Well, what do you mean it's page 1?" I said, "Well, I have another page," and I turned it over to page 2, full of questions. Page 3, full of questions. Page 4, full of questions. Page 5, full of questions. And he looked at me and said, "Oh my." He said, "I've never had anybody bring that many questions." He said, "We better get started." And we got started immediately. And wow, he kept answering questions. And he said, "Well, let's go over to my house for a little bit." And so we went over to his house, long story short. at 4 o'clock that afternoon. I left him, and when I left him, we'd only taken care of page 1. In fact, he looked at me and said, John, he said, we only did 1 page. You got 4 pages I haven't answered. He said, would you mind coming back? Oh my gosh, would I mind coming back? I mean, I'm so excited. I mean, I want to say touchdown, but he's a basketball coach. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I feel like running around the house. Would I like to come back? And I said, well, yeah, sure, I'd like to come. He said, well, let's set a date. You come on back. And here's what I want you to notice. 1 hour turned into 1 day. And 1 day turned into many years. Why? Preparation. Again, it was John Wooden who said, when opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. So I'm going to talk to you about preparation. I'm going to talk to you about reflection just in these few minutes that I have. And first of all, I want you to know there are 3 things that when I do preparing that I always concentrate on. Number 1 is I prepare continually. Now, there are 2 types of people. There are the people who wait for an opportunity and then they get ready, and then there are people who get ready to find the opportunity. Bill Bradley was a great basketball player. He played in the Ivy League. He played for the New York Knicks. He was an all-star. He also became a senator. I think at one time he even ran for president. And Bill Bradley's father, one time when he was just a young kid learning to play basketball and getting pretty good, he said these words to him. He said, son, when you're not practicing, someone else is. And when you meet that person, he's going to beat you. In other words, his father said, you have to be preparing, practicing continually. It was Joe Frazier, another champion, who said, champions do not become champions in the ring. They merely get recognized in the ring. Their becoming champions happens in their daily routine. I am continually preparing. You've heard me tell about every day. Every day I read. Every day I think. Every day I file. Every day I ask questions. Every day I write. Preparation never stops in my life. So I prepare continually. Secondly, I prepare visually. You see, your expectation determines your preparation. What do you see as a picture of yourself? When I was in the 4th grade, I went to the Mill Street Gym in Circleville, Ohio, and I saw my first varsity basketball game, and I leaned up against the railing in the balcony when they turned all the lights on and they put the spotlight on the huddle, and they introduced each player, the starting lineup for the Circleville Tigers, and as that spotlight would follow them out to the middle of the court, the people stood up and they cheered, and I'm in the 4th grade, and I said to myself, someday that'll be me. I'm going to learn how to play basketball. I went home to my dad, said I want to play basketball. He got me a basketball. We already had a driveway, got me a basketball backboard. He got me a basketball rim, got me a basketball, and I started playing basketball. Now, here's what I want you not to miss. When I say I prepare visually, here's what I want you to catch. Anticipation, the picture of what I can become. Anticipation in my life replaces self-discipline. When people hear the fact that I get up at 5:30 in the morning, they say, and write sometimes 5, sometimes 4:30. They said, John, you must be very self-disciplined. No, I'm just full of anticipation. I can hardly wait to put my robe on, go down to my room, get my 4-color pen, get my Lego pad, and start writing because I anticipate I'm going to put something on that paper that in the near future is going to change and mark somebody's life in a positive way. It's anticipation. So I prepare continually knowing that the opportunity will come and I'll be ready, and I prepare visually. This sets me up. This gives me a picture of what I'm going to one day become. And thirdly, I prepare realistically. Now, that seems kind of like a conflict, doesn't it? I just talked about what could be, and now I'm talking about what is. But I find that they are very compatible. In fact, realism is the foundation that you build your dream on. When you have a dream built on just a hope or a desire, and it has no realistic, solid foundation, you don't have any solid foundation to build on. Let me explain to you what I mean. In my years of leadership and building companies, et cetera, I was going through a very difficult time. And I read one of Jack Welch's book. He was later to become a wonderful friend. But I read one of his books, and in it, he had the 6 rules of successful leadership. Now, I learned these 6 rules. I laminated these 6 rules. And to be honest with you, I carried those rules around me for a long time because I needed them, because Jack Welch was bringing a dose of reality to me. And here were his 6 rules of successful leadership. Number 1, control your destiny or someone else will. That's realistic. Number 2, face reality as it is, not as it was and not as you wish it were. That's real. Number 3, be candid with everyone. Ooh, that's realistic. Number 4, don't manage, lead. Look at number 5, change before you have to. Woo. And if you don't have a competitive advantage, don't compete. So I have 2 lines. I have the realistic line and I have the goal line. And I work and live between those 2. And I never let either one of them control or get out of balance or get out of whack. I just keep them together. So in preparation, the front end, bookend of success, I do those 3 things. I think continually, I think realistically, I think visually. Now let's just talk about reflection just for a minute. I'm so glad you're with me today. You see, reflection is so essential because it turns experience into insight. You show me a person that reflects on their life, and I'll show you a person that gains wisdom and insight. And in mentoring, one of the things I teach about mentoring, if you're going to be mentored by somebody, get prepared on that front end, but then on that back end, reflect. Every time I would leave John Wooden, I would have within the next 3 or 4 days after I left him, a day to just go over all the things he taught me and reflect and experience and enact. So I'm going to just close with the fact that most of you know that the last week of every year, I spend it pretty much alone. And I look at the last year and I reflect. I pull out all the stuff I could pull out, good, bad, beautiful, ugly, of the past year that gets me ready for my new year. And I have what I call year-end questions. These are reflection questions. I just give them to you in closing. Boy, we sure do cram a lot of stuff in 20 minutes, don't we? Here we go. Here are my year-end questions. Number 1, what made me proud? I look at my last year and I say, okay, what were the accomplishments? Question number 2, what did I learn? This is all about growth. What do I know now that I didn't know at the first of last year? 3, who did I lead? This is all about my calling. My calling is to lead leaders. Who did I bring into my life that I led them? Question number 4, what held me back? Wow. This question is really deep. I look at my year, I see the people I was with, the things I did. Okay. Do I have an anchor there? Do I have something that held me back? What held me back? This is all about awareness. You cannot fix what you don't realize. Number 5, do I still love to do what I do? This is all about passion. If I'm going to re-up for the next year, I got to feel it. Number 6, oh my gosh, you talk about a question. Number 6, am I willing to pay the price again this year? You see, you always pay the price. There's no such thing as you stopped paying the price, but you continued to succeed and grow. No such thing. That's all about commitment. Number 7, what is important right now? That's all about my priorities as I go looking at the new year. What do I need to change? Those are the challenges I need to face as I go into the new year. And then finally, what is my word for the year, which keeps me focused. So here we have it. Preparation, reflection. If you want to maximize your life, if you want to maximize your encouragement, be very intentional. Do the 3 things I talk about on the front end, and then reflect and draw out the essence of all of your experiences and help maximize those for your life. Wow, I love my Mondays with you. Thanks for being with me. Tell your friends, will you? Every Monday, 12 Eastern Standard Time, noon, I'm here with 20 minutes, and I'm also here to let you meet one of my coaches. I'm so proud of my John Maxwell team, and you're about to meet one of our real successful coaches. Thanks for being with us. Hi, John Maxwell here. I'm with one of our coaches, Jack Kleemeyer from Brownsburg, is it? Indiana?
Yes, yeah.
Brownsburg. Now, Brownsburg, Indiana, my first church was in Hillham, Indiana, French Lick. Brownsburg would be a little north of it, wouldn't it? About an hour?
About an hour, yes, sir.
About an hour away. And you joined the John Maxwell team in, 2015?
2015, yeah. I saw the opportunity come up in 2011, and I thought, I can't afford it. And then you were speaking in Indiana, and I thought, I'll become a John Maxwell coach, and John and I can pal around. I was a little naive, but 6 years later, I get to pal around with you.
Here we are.
Yeah, goals come true.
It's working, Jack. Well, I'm so glad that you're here with us. Tell me before you were a John Maxwell team coach, what were you doing, and what caused you to say, I think I want to become part of the team?
Well, I had a coaching business before, coaching and training business, and it didn't have a lot of direction to it. And I took whatever gigs I could get and whatever opportunities that came along. And I found out later that I was bigger on the outside than I was on the inside.
Oh, my.
And so the John Maxwell team helped me get bigger on the inside. And it's still a process.
So you were already coaching.
I was, yeah.
And speaking, I can tell. You were a speaker, coach, and doing well. And so you heard me speak, and you said, okay, I want to join the John Maxwell team so I can pal around with John and that whole process.
Yeah.
Okay, so you joined, and you've been part of the team now for 6 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay, talk to us. What's it done for you?
Well, it first given me direction. It's given me some founding principles. It's given me, as one of the coaches said a while back, they said, content, so that's always a plus. But just to learn how to grow on the inside more than on the outside. And then to realize that everything worthwhile is uphill, and I always chagrin the uphill part.
Yeah.
Right? And then I remember on a call when Intentional Living came out, and you said that phrase, and I was at a ball game for my son and just was floored. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I've been cussing the uphill.
Yeah.
Right? I've been fighting it.
Yeah.
And so now I look forward to the uphill. I look forward to it.
I love that. You know what, Jack, you're teaching us right there is the fact that mindset really does matter.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah. I mean, and here you were, the very thing that was going to be the source of blessing to you, the uphill, you were cursing and saying, oh my gosh, I don't want to do it, until the day you realized that was the way to be successful. I think so many people, they try to take shortcuts and they don't realize that that they're in the game for the long run. So now you're a coach, and now you're still speaking, I assume.
I am, yes, sir. And things are opening back up, and I'm getting out on the road a little bit, which is great. And it's good to be in front of audiences again. I mean, I've been in front of a Zoom thing, but there's not really an audience there. You're just talking to a camera.
We've all been Zooming.
Right.
And we're all Zoomed out, aren't we, huh?
I got Zoom bud, I think, the whole time waiting. Just,
Well, I think we all did. Well, I'm glad you're part of the team.
I'm glad to be a part of the team.
And as I'm thinking about Jack and his experience, I'm thinking about you for a moment, and I'm just saying that I think what happens when you join the John Maxwell team is we just take who you are and we just help you to become a better you. And we take what you do and we help you to become able to do it even in a better way. We give you direction, we give you connections, and we come alongside of you. And Jack, one of the best things I ever did was not only start the John Maxwell team, but give people the name. Because you people like you are out there spreading great values, and you're going places I could have never gone, and you're doing things for me that I would have never been able to accomplish. And so, I want to thank you for adding value to me and expanding my. You're one of the legs to my legacy. I want to thank you very much. What do you got there?
Well, this just says Mondays with Maxwell because it's about marketing, and I'm on the marketing faculty for the GMT marketing system, and so we got to have a little bit of marketing in this conversation.
Yeah, so it's just, we just put that baby right there.
Okay,
how's
all
that?
right.
Okay. Now I can't even read my notes, but that's all right. Mondays with Maxwell. Hey, thank you, Jack. And
Thank you, John.
hey, why not today call us and let us start you on this journey of becoming a John Maxwell team member? You'll be glad you did, and I'll tell you what, I'll be glad too, because I need you. We're doing some great things. I just need some more great people just like you.
I hope you've enjoyed today's Monday with Maxwell lessons. What's some good advice or some unadvice you've received? Let us know in the comments. And what can we say about our John Maxwell team members? Every day, they look for ways to lead in and live out Maxwell leadership principles and philosophies. We're so grateful for the John Maxwell team. Each week, we'll feature a member or mentor from our team who will share their story and their journey with you. Why? Because we want you to see the real stories of difference makers, of value multipliers, and of possibilists. If you want to learn how you too can join John's team of difference makers, go to mondayswithmaxwell.com. Let me say that again. It's Mondays, plural, mondayswithmaxwell.com. Let us know how you saw Mondays with Maxwell and how you want to make a difference. Thank you again for watching today. We'll see you next week for another episode of Mondays with Maxwell.